to One-on-One with Colette Linden. Today I'm here with Ron Zagordo. Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
I did pronounce that correctly, right?
You did.
Oh, okay,
right
good.
on.
So we were discussing before the show started that you were an educator. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, I have been teaching or taught for 30 plus years, and all in Sault Ste. Marie, and part as a teacher, and then got into administration for the last 15 years, and just recently retired in June.
Well, congratulations. So you retired, so now you need something else to do.
And now I'm back out there again.
That's it. So let's talk about your campaign. Have you started your campaign so far?
I have started, yes.
That's good. So tell me a little bit about your platform. What are some initiatives that you want to run?
Well, there's three areas that, whatever we're aiming for and trying to do, or what my goals are, I can put them into three categories. The first category is transparent municipality, transparent government. And with that, and somewhere along the lines, it seems like we've lost the people's voice. And my goal is to give people their voice back. As counselors, I truly believe that we are there representing them and servicing them. And it's not about I or what I want, but what the people of my ward or the city of Sault Ste. Marie are looking for. The other thing is, healthy, safe neighborhoods. We want to create neighborhoods where people feel safe to go for walks, and and are healthy. We talk about the opioid crisis and all those kind of things. So I look at that as well as another thing we need to tackle. And we want a nice, robust, and healthy economy as well, where people can work. People who want to come back to Sault Ste. Marie have an opportunity and create that kind of environment for them. I
couldn't agree with you more. And one of the questions that I have asked other candidates in the other wards as well is succession planning, keeping your youth here. We have a lot of international students coming. How do we keep, or how do we get back our younger Saultites, should they go away to a university in Southern Ontario, let's say, and come back, or how do we keep them here? And what does the future of SSM look like? I know we do.
Sure. I've had lots of opportunities in the 30 years talking to young people about Sault Ste. Marie and what their goals are and what their intentions are. And then just having simple conversations with them. They want a place, and just like adults, they want a place where they can work, contribute to their communities, raise a family, go to events and participate in events and festivals and things of that sort. I see young people as wanting the same kind of things and having the same goals as adults do in the long run. So I think the best way to try to find out details and getting information from them is having that one-on-one conversation, which I've been fortunate enough to have over the years. So,
absolutely.
That's helped out.
So that will help tap into that younger generation, because as we know across the province, and not just here in the Sault, voter turnout is not, it's about half, let's say, about 50-60%. So what about that younger generation? The 18, hey, you can vote now. You have a voice. And up to 30 years old, let's say. So how do we engage voters?
I think for the youth, since that's probably the lowest turnout sometimes, is that we have to find things that relate to the youth, right? If they have no relation or no connection, it's hard for them to come out and vote for something that they're not completely aware of. So again, looking to find out and discover what are some of the things that young people are looking for in their community. What are things that would keep them here in their community? And again, I go back to events, concerts. I know we've done that in Sault Ste. Marie. And when we bring out things on that platform, on that level, and young people can relate to that, I think that you would see a greater turnout from young people. And I think the way that has to happen is through communication. Through social media, that's young people's voice, if you will. I think as older people here, I consider myself a little bit older, mature. That's a great word. I think we need to be involved in that venue as well. We need to be in that social media, because that's the connections that we're going to make with young people for sure.
So let me ask you, Ron, we've watched the last city council for the last 4 years. Always there's negative and positives to every city council. You're not going to please everyone. Tell me, is there some issues that you would like to see maybe perhaps take a different turn from where they sat, where the council has left off, or are there some building projects or anything that you would like to see and build into fruition?
Yes. Well, some of the things I see, like one of the things that, weighs on my mind is that we have some great projects out there, I'll call them shiny objects. We build, I'll use the pavilion, for example. Okay. We built a great pavilion on the waterfront, and yet, since it's been built, we don't hear too much about the pavilion anymore, or having events, or creating an environment there that families can come down to. So we need to re-engage people into some of the structures that we already had invested a lot of money into. Strathclair Park is another one. Bellevue Park is another one. We have these existing structures, and we need to engage people and not forget those before we go off building or doing something else that's a major project, right? I think the other things are the smalls, I call them. Things that affect every single person in our community. We hear it in every election, and I'll bring it up again. Things like snow removal. There's nothing more frustrating, I think, for elderly, mature, young families as well, waking up in the morning and finding snow piled up at the end of your driveway. I know a couple of years back, I don't know if it was a program or what the case was, but there was some removal of that snow. That's something or an issue that affects every single individual in Sault Ste. Marie. And if we can lighten the load in the mornings, or for young families, or for the more mature, to have that snow removed at the end of the driveway, I think we need to look at things like that as well.
Because we know there's primary, secondary roads, and they do the primary roads first and such. But there's been a few mornings where we had to really
nothing more frustrating, right, in the mornings.
Absolutely. So what about infrastructure? What's your stance on infrastructure? Do you see the Band-Aids that are going on around the potholes issues? Let's take that one. Winter maintenance is a great one. So there is a winter maintenance budget, obviously, and it's pretty high for Sault Ste. Marie, given the fact that we do get a lot of snow.
Well, unfortunately, our roads are a major issue as far as I'm concerned, and it's not just people internally in Sault Ste. Marie that are seeing these, these things. It's people visiting, and I've had personal friends come to Sault Ste. Marie, and the first thing they mention, or one of the first things, is what is it with the roads, right? And when we look at that, it is a Band-Aid approach, and I don't think we've come into develop some long-term plan. I like to use an analogy, if I may. If a young family may not be able to go on a major trip for a vacation, but if they plan it and organize it and put monies away over the years, they have something to look forward to maybe in a couple of years down the road. But they know it's coming, and that's an exciting thing. Roads can be looked at exactly the same way as far as I'm concerned. If we were to start with a plan where we begin in one ward or one section of the city and move along through the city, at least we know where our taxpayer dollars are going. We know something is coming. It might not be immediate, but there would be a long-term plan for it, something like that.
And I do know that, there have been a few buildings that have gone up in the last couple of years where taxpayers are wondering, we don't need this. Why are we doing that? And why don't we do this? But again, the voice to fix that is to go out and vote, number one.
Absolutely.
But, what is your stance on that? How do you appease your ward?
Again, you need to give them a voice, and I think being out there and communicating with people is critical. We may have the social and electronic world, I get that, but I think nothing beats one-on-one and speaking with people. I've been a season ticket holder with Greyhounds for over 10 years now, and that platform of speaking to people one-on-one and just hearing what's going on, I think is critical to making sound decisions based on information, based on good details about what's going on. Again, I go back to what I stated earlier. Sometimes we forget about the infrastructure that we have in place.
Absolutely.
We look at the pavilion, for example, and can we make use of that? We want people in the downtown core. We want people going to the mall, for example, and yet we have this large building that doesn't get used to capacity, and maybe the city and private business can form some kind of relationship where something can be worked out in that fashion. Then you have private business, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes they see things in infrastructure that we can't control, whether they need a specific building or location. And I think we have to be cognizant of that as well. So there's got to be a collaboration and a happy medium between the two.
If you had to tackle one issue at the top of your campaign, what would it be? What is
My one issue.
Yes, that you'd like to.
There's so many. There's no doubt about it. But
Sure.
I think I would go back to seeing something that affects everyone.
Okay.
And those two things would be the roads,
Yes.
in a long-term plan,
Yeah.
and something like snow removal, which affects every individual in Sault Ste. Marie.
Yes.
I think something like that, people would see it as, accountable government. My money that I pay in taxes, I see it in some kind of service.
Yeah.
And people would feel a little bit more positive about municipal government and where money's being spent. So I think you need to start small and then maybe move to some larger things, for sure.
Great. Well, excellent. It was great to meet you, Ron. Thanks for
Well, it was a
joining us
pleasure
today.
meeting you,
And as
yes.
an educator, I think it's great. It's a good step up that you'll have that relationship with your younger. I'm sure you've got some students that.
Wonderful students,
There you go.
Fantastic young people, for sure.
That's
for
great.
Sure.
Well, congratulations. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you again.
That's it for today on One-on-One with Paulette Linden. Please join us again tomorrow.